Hi, my name is John Burnberry. I'm with the Bay Area Independent Publishers Association, BAPA, and I'm also the author of When I Killed My Father, an assisted suicide family thriller. And I'm going to be interviewing science fiction author Mike Van Horn. And Mike, why don't you tell me about yourself and your book?
Hi, I've been writing science fiction for about 30 years, but for the first 25 of that, I never even finished anything because I was so busy doing business books. But then a couple of years ago, I said, if I'm ever going to get this stuff done in this lifetime, it's got to be now. So I've
Yes.
begun focusing on the science fiction. What I have done, I've just recently completed a trilogy. Only the first book has been published so far, and it is
Aliens
Aliens
crashed in my
Crashed in
backyard.
My Backyard. Um, and so let me just say a little bit about that. This is a story about a singer who is fearing she's over the hill and she's bored with her singing, and then an alien spaceship crashes on her back hillside, and there's only one survivor. And it turns out that that survivor is a very non-human alien who basically ran away from home because she wasn't getting to sing the things she wanted. They could only communicate by singing. And so they learned to sing together. And the story is about them gradually kind of rekindling their passion for singing and having a bunch of other adventures as they go along.
Now, do I have this right that you include somehow some songs in the book?
Yes, and I'll talk about that in just a bit. I'll
Okay.
say more about that. Um, so as I was writing this book, readers would say, wait, you're not saying enough about this. So book one became book two. And when I got up to 100,000 words, I said, whoa, I got to split this. So then it became a trilogy. So then my next two books are, let's see if I can get these up here. My Spaceship Calls Out to Me and Space Girl Yearning. These are about the further adventures of my heroine, Selena M, in space, fighting off the people who are trying to grab her spaceship. She gets marooned in space. She ends up having to be rescued by aliens. And spoiler alert, she does get safely back to Earth in the end. And so that's kind of the story arc of these three stories.
So the alien is a friendly alien.
Yes, that's right. My books are full of aliens. Some are friendly, some are angry, some are unhappy, some are indifferent. But none of them are human. They're
Right,
very
right.
unhuman.
So tell me how you write. Are you a planner or a pantser?
I am definitely a pantser. I said about how I wrote this. This started out as a short story, and I got up to 30,000 words, and I said, well, maybe it's a novella. And then it just kept growing, metastasizing, I think is the word. And eventually it emerged as a trilogy. And I must confess, I'm now working on book 4 of the trilogy.
Well, I think that's a good. I think you should just keep calling it a trilogy and just call it book four because these days, why not, right?
That's right. And there's no good word for a 4-book series.
Right. Tetralogy or something. Would that be
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
that
not
doesn't
good.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's the most surprising thing that you learned while working on these books?
Well, my heroine is a singer.
Hmm.
And so I had to write in little bits of lyrics of songs that she
Hmm.
performs that just had to be part of the story. And as I got a bunch of these, I thought, well, if I have lyrics, I need music. And
Right.
so I found a guy to compose music that went along with my lyrics. And he brought in this woman singer who's actually a blues singer in Mill Valley. Uh, and she became the voice of my heroine, Selena M. And I now have 7 songs published. They're on my website and also on SoundCloud. Now, these are not, woo woo alien sounds like on the, uh, what's the, I can't think of the name of that instrument where.
Uh-huh,
Anyway,
uh-huh.
they're not like that. They're like country western songs.
Right, right.
So I the surprise for me is I became a lyricist.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. And of course, you can put the songs on your website or maybe in an ebook, whatever. But you're not including like a CD in your book or anything.
Not a CD, but in the ebooks, of course, I can put a link in there
Yeah,
to the
yeah, yeah,
songs.
yeah. Well, so since you're writing a series, a four-book trilogy, four for now anyway, how do you create an arc for the individual book and also for the series? I mean, how do you
Yeah.
end a book and then figure out how to also create a cliffhanger?
Well, that's an interesting question, and I've actually agonized over that a bit. And because all the writing gurus say every book must stand on its own,
Uh-huh.
and so I just read an article describing the different kinds of series, and I found out that there's a term for mine, a serial, featuring one overarching narrative told in several chronological installments. That's what I've done. So each book has its own arc and comes to a conclusion, and then the next book starts off and it has its arc and comes to a conclusion, and likewise with the third one. But then there's an overall story arc as well.
But even though you have the overall story arc, you now have the fourth book that you're working on. So
That, that's right. And when I started that, I thought, well, this is going to be different characters. See, the fourth book is called Alien Invasion. There goes the neighborhood.
uh-huh.
And so it doesn't fit into the same series exactly, because I wanted to write something about uh, an alien invasion that wasn't hostile but friendly, and
Hmm.
show what would happen if they came to the earth as tourists, etc. And that could be beneficial but also very disruptive.
Hmm.
So, but that as I was writing that, it became clear to me that I couldn't make it a very interesting story, some of these same characters. So I brought forward some of the characters who had been in the trilogy, including my heroine, Selena M.
So your heroine is the through line of all the books.
Exactly.
Okay. So what's next? Book five?
I am not even going to think that. I'm not going down that road. Actually, I do have another trilogy as existing as notes, and it's a completely different kind of book. It's called Bleeding Edge, and it's about humans being taken off and sent to a hunting world to be hunted down by wealthy aliens who pay a lot to hunt these illegally hunted beasts. But that exists only as 100,000 word notes right now.
Well, for 25 years you did notes, and now you're cranking the books out left and right.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
So how do we find out more about you and your books?
Well, my website would be the best place to go, galaxytalltales.com. And also, book one is on Amazon, and that is at viewbook.at/aliens crashed.
Okay, thanks very much. We'll see you when book six comes out. Thanks very much, Mike.
My pleasure.